Hi, my name is Irvin A and this year I'm a senior at Pittsburgh High School, and I'm part of the Independent Study Mentorship Program, where qualified teams are able to present research on a career of their choice. And this year I chose orthopedic surgery. But first, I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself. I was born in New York. I moved to Frisco when I was 9 from Austin. I am currently a senior at FHS, and I live just in front of the elementary school Bledsoe. I'm involved at several extracurricular clubs at the school, like EPA, YECA, OSA, and part of recreational soccer team at FC America. And I also do working out and relaxing. This year I chose to do orthopedic surgery. I always knew I wanted to do healthcare, but I wasn't necessarily sure where in healthcare I wanted to go. But then in 10th grade, I took health science class, which is a class for students who are interested in health careers. And she showed us this video about, it was like an animated short. There was this guy who fell off this huge ladder, and it showed this like 3D imaging or video of how his bones were fixed and the screws that went in and everything, and it was really cool. And that's basically, after I saw that, I was like, wow, that sounds like something really cool, how hands-on it is. And so that's why I chose to study. And a little bit about orthopedic surgery is it's a profession dealing with treatment and surgery of the musculoskeletal system. This can range from hands to the spine to knee replacement, joints, anything like that. And it can be a very demanding profession, and today in the United States there's around 20,500. It's a profession that you have to go into less about monetary benefits, but more about care about people. And some fun facts about it is that California, New York, and Texas have the highest number of orthopedic surgeons per 100,000 people. Orthopedic surgeons perform an average of 32 procedures per month, and surgeons less than 40 comprise less than 15% of surgeons, which really just means that, as I did interviews and things like that, I saw that most orthopedic surgeons were elderly, they were pretty aged. But it was still really cool because there were some young ones, and I got to interview some women who are very rare usually in orthopedic surgery. And most orthopedic surgeons work in group practices, and there is a shortage of joint replacement surgeons in the United States. So what am I going to do with this ISM? Well, my mission statement this year is an independent study and mentorship program. I hope to gain real-world experience and professional communication opportunities in surgical areas by taking all the advice given to me and working hard to reach my goals. I expect to grow as a person in the professional world and build a connection with a surgeon of some sort while using honesty and integrity along the way. I also hope to create a product before I deal with the benefit with procedures or timetable. And so this year in ISM, so far what I've done is I've done research assessments and interviews, where research assessments we just look on the internet and we try and find something about the career of our choice that we can research and talk about and discuss. And then with the interviews, we contact professionals in the Frisco area and we try and interview them, find out a little bit more about the profession. So it's like a hands-on type of information gathering. And so I'm hoping also through ISM I can become more professional. I can also work on my talking skills, I can work on my communication and behavior in real-world environments, and also how to dress in professional environments. For my research assessments, I usually I look on the internet, maybe I would go to ProQuest or go to a career database, and I would just type in orthopedic, and the thing that I found most interesting is what I would choose to do. And the first one we did was a career outlook assessment, which was basically just found out about the profession, kind of a little bit about the education you have to go through, about the what the work day is like the requirements to become the career that you're looking into. And then after that, we started doing research assessments. And the first one I did was satisfaction of orthopedic surgery, which was basically, it was a statistic analysis of how well people were off after their orthopedic surgeries. And like it showed that hand surgeries usually had the least satisfaction. Like after the hand surgery, they're still having pain in that area of their body. And then it also talked a little bit about what type of things led to patient satisfaction, which pain was definitely the biggest thing because I guess patients really just want to know, like they come there and they want the pain to go away. And then another thing was like the type of person that they work with. So it also kind of showed me that in orthopedic surgery, you need to be like a people person. You can't just be kind of you should be like more of a person rather than like a surgeon you're working on somebody. And the next research assessment I did was amniotic band syndrome, which was this lady on CNN. She had this thing called amniotic band syndrome. It's where she was pregnant and the amniotic band wrapped around her baby and like cut off the baby's fingers. And she had to have an orthopedic surgeon work on the baby, and it was actually really successful. And the baby can like has like prosthetic fingers and things like that. And, like the surgeon has to like fix the nose and like his leg, and the development's great. And so it also showed that orthopedic surgery can be life changing. And the Boston bombings orthopedic hero, it was an orthopedic surgeon who went to the Boston hospital after the bombings last year, 2 years ago, and he helped with a lot of things, and it was really, really passionate, and like the people were like so thankful. And the document, it was basically just talking about how selfless he was. And then also we went on unsuccessful hand surgery where they were discussing in this article, they were discussing how hand surgeries may not actually be working, so that's why orthopedic surgeons have to work, and they have to find out how to innovate it, because healthcare in general is a changing profession every day. They work on new procedures, they work on new ways of doing things, and orthopedic surgery is something that can be very flawed. And then the last research assessment we did was UNT, where we went to UNT and we just sat in on some classes, and the research assessment just discussed like how I like UNT in the classes. For my interview assessments, the first person I interviewed was Lawson Copley. He was really nice. He was a philosophy major in college, which was like a really different perspective I was able to gain. And he is a pediatric orthopedic surgeon at UT Southwestern. And he's also an academic doctor. And then the second one I did was Catherine Pointer. She also gave me a very different perspective on orthopedic surgery because her education, she was a U1 athlete in college. And she went to the University of Massachusetts. And it was really cool to see that, there's not just one way to become a surgeon, like, people from all different types become surgeons. And I also interviewed Frank Gottschalk. He was from South Africa, which was also very cool. So I was also to gain a different perspective, international perspective. And then I also interviewed Maureen Finnegan, and she was from Canada, so she also gave me a perspective on Canadian healthcare and the healthcare system there. And then I also interviewed Sean Heslin, who was also from Canada, and he is a team doctor at Lone Star, and he was really nice, and he just kind of told me a little bit about things I could do to help me become a better person, and also to the pathway of the future. What I've learned this year about so far is orthopedic surgery needs a selfless attitude. It's not a profession that you can just go into basically because it's a really, really demanding, so it takes discipline, it takes dedication, and it takes time. So, a lot of people would say it's not really worth it, but I think it is because, I feel like it's a really cool profession. And patient satisfaction is critical. Through my research assessments, I found out that, if you're not doing the job right, people are telling you, you're not doing something right, you need to take, constructive criticism. And you need to, that's why healthcare changes every day, because some things that we think worked 50 years ago, now we know that it completely doesn't work. And some things that we're doing today that we think work might actually not be working. So that's why we need to innovate every day. And I learned orthopedic surgery changes lives. And it's something that maybe in places where healthcare is underrepresented, things that are small that here in Frisco we should be able to fix pretty easily, it can become a big deal. Like a broken arm can lead to infection and someone can actually die from something like that. And so that's why it's really important And I also learned more about academic versus private practice, which is academic doctors. Like I interviewed a couple at UT Southwestern, and they were more focused on like the educational side of orthopedic surgery. They did a lot of surgery themselves, but they also worked with residents, people that were doing fellowship, and different things like that. And I also were able to present to interview some private practice doctors, which they were more focused on the actual surgeries, like they do surgeries like every day. Rather as academic doctors, they had a lot of meetings rather than just doing surgeries. And I also learned that more about the workday. All the surgeons in general, they basically all like had colleagues that they work with, and they have a lot of meetings too. So that was also great. And this year for my original work, I decided to make a video on proper weightlifting techniques because I like working out. And I see that like sometimes, if you're not doing something right, you can actually like break a bone. And that's gonna result in like you're gonna need like surgery for that. And so I was gonna make a video on like proper weightlifting techniques and the type of bones that can be broken for each like long type of workouts. And I was also gonna include the type of surgeries that you can need and maybe like the cost of each one. So it's like doing something like this can like break your shoulder. So you're gonna need a surgery that's gonna cost a lot of money. So it's really hard. And for my quote, I said, it's a quote by a writer, just Campbell, and it is, "We must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is made for us." And basically what this quote says to me is, we as teenagers, we have a lot of expectations we want to meet, and if we don't meet an expectation, we start to freak out or get stressed. But really, like, what we, like, from the day we were born, we had a future that was set, I believe. And so, like, if you don't get into a college of your choice, or you aren't able to get this certain mentor that you really, really wanted, that you really shouldn't be too worried about it, because no matter where you end up is where you're supposed to end up from the day you were born. And that's why it's really important to just, rather than stress out about things, work on what you can do right now and not what you didn't do in the past. And, don't say, I don't have this mentor anymore, I didn't get into this college. But you should be worried about like, I did get into this college, or I can keep working on these applications, or I can keep working on getting this mentor who's actually better for me. So that was basically my point. And that is the end of my presentation.